Entering this place where colors do not just sit on a shelf, they burst sparkle. It is a place filled with temptation, the air heavy like candy, machines drumming away like an ever-restless metropolis, and conveyor belts disappear fantastic, fleeting gems as if from mid-air. This is the Skittles factory, a stage where rainbows are born every day.
Hey, Tim, show Joel how everything you touch turns into Skittles.
That's awesome.
It is indeed slightly guilt-sweet when you think about what goes into making candy, but feels more like performance art realized. Science, sweetness, and just enough random chance combine here. Hold your breath, because the story of Skittles is far more lively than what you might imagine. So, ready to have a sneak peek into the world's largest Skittles making factory and see how the rainbow is really built? Step closer, because once you know what goes on inside a Skittles factory, you'll never look at that shiny little candy the same way again. It all starts plain, whipped around in industrial mixers that sound like thunder confined within a tin drum, only sugar, corn syrup, and palm oil. Hundreds of pounds are stirred on the scale until the mixture turns sticky and weird, nearly like dough, but not quite. Each second is significant. Too much or too little mixing causes the batch to go bad. Here, accuracy counts, yet it also has a messy quality, like a recipe created by an engineer who has a sweet tooth. From the sticky mass, tiny nuggets pour out in rapid succession. As thousands spew out, all rolling down in close succession, everything looks just like a flood tide, with each morsel nearly indistinguishable from the others in size. They may not resemble Skittles yet, but they are still far from anything sweet, cold, and unidentifiable. In everyone there lies the hope of becoming something beautiful or worth, pray God, good. It's like witnessing their arrival in a single-family group would be like imagining 10 small streams all on fire. Things turn around here. Those light nuggets are submerged in layers of sugar syrup and hurled into spinning drums. Round and round, the fragments create silky shells as they collide. Slowly, patiently. This is where the crunch starts. It's where a soft, chewy heart learns to grow armor. With each drum spin, you move further away from dullness and closer to the taste people anticipate when they chew a Skittle. However, taste is the heartbeat. Batches divide once shells are fixed. Every group finds its end. Lime, grape, lemon, orange, strawberry. Intense flavors, absolutely no uncertainty. You smell it before you taste it. The room almost vibrates with the symphony of fruit. It fills the air with sweet and sour and wild flavors. At last alive, each bit of the candy awaits someone's tongue. Now, color. This is where things really take off. The candies roll again, drenched in layers of food dye until they glow like polished jewels. Green, yellow, purple, orange, red, bold and loud, no half measures. It's hypnotic, like watching an artist drip paint across a canvas, except the brush is sugar and the canvas spins in circles. The colors must be exact. If they're off, the rainbow doesn't shine the way it should. Shine is also significant. Wax makes Skittles gleam. Edible wax, lightly polished in tumbling drums. Without it, they would cluster like wet pebbles in a pocket. It makes them seem alive and shiny enough to attract the light. It's somewhat gratifying to see drab candies become brilliant little treasures, like a trick you didn't realize was going on until the reveal. The stamp comes next, the famous S. Each candy lined up, marked with food-safe ink in neat precision. Fast, relentless. Without that S, they'd still taste the same, but something important would be missing. The logo isn't just ink, it's identity. Fans would notice. They'd complain. That tiny white letter completes the show. Not every Skittle qualifies. Here, quality control is sharp-eyed and pitiless. Machines seek flaws, improper shapes, feeble colors. Cameras capture photos quicker than any person might ever dream to. Defects, pulled out without mercy. The aim is obvious. A bag feels ideal every time. It's almost like surgery. But the real truth behind it is that people want their candy to look as good as it tastes. Then comes the finale, packaging. Candies fall into bags in measured amounts, no more, no less. Seal, label, box, done. Conveyor belts glide them forward like a dance routine rehearsed 1,000 times. The bags themselves matter, bold red, familiar, almost comforting. More than packaging, it's a promise that when someone tears it open, fun and flavor are waiting. Vehicles drive out as pallets load up. The rainbow road trip once packed goes over road. Gas stations, movie theaters, vending machines, supermarkets, all of them were refilled several times. Once sugar and syrup, what began as such now crisscrossed the country hidden in purses, pockets, and lunchboxes of kids. Millions of little pieces, each bearing the narrative of its path without ever uttering a word. Behind the curtain, science and play live side by side. Engineers calculate temperatures and drum speeds, while flavors blast like wild fireworks. It shouldn't work, this mix of control and chaos, but it does. Skittles don't just exist, they charm. They hold a strange power in pop culture, partly because they're candy, partly because they're art, disguised in sugar shells. Food researchers experiment ceaselessly. Sour, tropical, and berry are new tastes abound. Each calls for close adjustment since balance is difficult to achieve. It burns when too acidic. It bores because it is overly sweet. Experiments conducted in labs where little batches determine the future. Some never do. Others become cult stars. Which survives? Only what feels correct. Only what shouts loud enough to fit the rainbow. Even with machines running the show, there's still something oddly human about it all. Workers watch gauges, adjust levers, double-check stamps. Their hands may not touch every Skittle, but their care is there in the details that keep everything smooth. Without them, the rainbow would falter. They make the mechanical personal. The factory also never stops work. Day, night, it sings out. Holidays change colors. Reds and greens abound for Christmas, pastel tones for Easter. The rainbow bends with the season, but never breaks. It stays jovial, changes, preserves its magic alive. Sustainability creeps into the story, too. Factories cut energy, recycle materials, rethink waste. Even the wax, even the ink, they're built for safety and for the planet. Small choices, but when you're making millions of candies daily, small becomes big. Candy and responsibility, side by side. The tale ends where it started, in a sack torn open by hurried hands. Skittles flow out, vibrant, glossy, delicious. Every one the result of loud mixers, spinning drums, sharp-eyed inspections, and small stamps. Everyone represents a rainbow compressed. Perhaps that's why their appeal never fades. They go beyond just sugar. They stand for a factory that never sleeps path, noise, stench, and rhythm. People subsequently return, handful after handful, to sample the rainbow once more. Yet, there's more tucked between the lines of this rainbow's tale. Long shifts see the employees banter with each other, recounting tales over the constant whir of the mixers. Machines fail, sometimes at the worst conceivable time, and it's humans rather than robots who rush to fix them. It's not constantly ideal. On other days, the syrup is too thin. On other days, a drum runs too hot and impromptu changes have to be made. Things go wrong, but they become part of the way the factory works, almost like jazz. Visitors who happen to see production usually stand wide-eyed in wonder at the rapid pace of everything. They look forward to candy producing feeling sluggish, perhaps even soft. Rather, it's never-ending, a concert-like rush of color and sound, rather than a kitchen. Many individuals find the size to be surprising. Millions of Skittles every day, countless tiny candies all perfectly shaped, flavored, and stamped. It's overwhelming in the best way, and there are stories tucked into the rainbow too. Rumors of test flavors that never saw daylight, like watermelon, blueberry, or even cola that got lost in the shuffle. Some say prototypes are hidden in back rooms, never to be tasted by the public. Maybe it's true, maybe it isn't. The secrecy adds to the mystique, making Skittles feel like more than candy, like part of a living legend. There's something almost magical in the air late at night when manufacturing is slower and the factory floor vibrates with a less energy. The computers keep spinning, but less bustle and less noise define them now. Slightly slower, workers move. The scent of sugar hangs heavier, and the rainbow seems to be being whispered into existence rather than screamed. This is a side of candy manufacture most people will never get to experience, a slower pace under the bustle. It's the combination of accuracy and imperfection that keeps the rainbow alive, not only sugar, taste, or clever marketing. Yes, the exact measurements, but also the improvisational events when things go wrong and people change. Skittles are not naturally perfect. They are created, sculpted, polished, stamped, evaluated, and occasionally thrown away. And somehow that makes the ones that end up in the bag feel even more unique. Perhaps then, the real magic is the story of how it comes to be, vivid, loud, disorganized, and alive, rather than the rainbow itself. The next time you open that red bag, take a moment, enjoy it, maybe even give a few to someone instead of just munching and going on. Definitely try the rainbow, but more especially appreciate the wild story tucked inside each bite.